Hello, everyone. Jess Claire here, dropping in for your Sunday session to the Rogue Lifestyle peeps. I'm just going to get you guys up here. Where am I? There I am. If you are jumping on, please say hello. Turn that down. Hey, Jamie. Good to see you. Let's see. Having a breakthrough. Morning. For those of you, hey, Simone. Wherever you're tuning in for, I've linked this to my YouTube channel and my social media school. So if you are coming in from those channels, I may not be able to see you because I'm here directly for the Social Media Academy Rogue Lifestyle. And it's actually perfect. Hello, Amanda. It's actually, hello, Christina. As you're jumping on, remember, I want you to engage in this. If it was up to me, good morning, Jess Claire. If it was up to me, I would have you all on the screen and I'd be able to, interact with you. This is like in person, but I have to just accept that what's actually happening is that you're online. So morning, boss, morning, Mata. So I don't get you in physical, but I like to recreate the physical as much in the online space. So that means that this interaction is very important to me. Okay. So I'm about to do what I'm calling a training for the Rogue Lifestyle. And this is a training in leadership. And so I'd love you to join in this. And this is what I'm considering leadership. I want to be very, very clear with you that for me, I have a view of what leadership is and it isn't. And hello, Shari. And I'm going to share that with you. I am not the guru on leadership. In fact, one of the things I say leadership is owning that you are one human being on this planet with a view. You are not a guru. You may have a whole lot of stuff to share with people. However, that the fact of being and educating yourself to be someone that becomes a kind of status guru is counterproductive, because the moment that you think you know a lot, it's actually a big part of what stops you from listening to others. So, good morning, gorgeous. Oh, that's a lovely comment. Thanks, Shari. So I'm going to get straight into it. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. What is a breakthrough? What's a breakthrough? And what has a breakthrough got to do with leadership? I want you guys to think about that, and if you can make a comment, that would be great, and I'll interact with you. And I want you to consider that a breakthrough and leadership are so aligned, they're almost the same thing. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to go into that with you. And absolutely, Simone, every individual has something to share. And not only that, is that every individual collectively, when we're able to listen and we're able to, what I call co-create, some of the most incredible things that have happened on this planet have happened because of the ability for people to co-create together. There is nothing that I do that is separate from anyone else. In fact, I will talk to someone and that will expand my thinking daily, and I will write about it and it will have something new show up for me. It's like this expansive experience, right? So a breakthrough is something that you have overcome personally. Great. Thank you, Christina. I'm going to put some of these things up on here. So if it says Facebook user, it's just because of the, I can see you guys in the Rogue Lifestyle. Discovery of yourself. Yes, that's right. It's a breakthrough. Discovery of yourself. A breakthrough is overcoming something personally. Yeah. I mean, we kind of, when you have a breakthrough, you can get clarity for leadership. Yeah, great. That's a breakthrough. So, and this is great, right? Because what I can hear is that it's discovering yourself, it's overcoming something personally, It's getting clarity. You know, Julie's like, oh, interesting question. Amanda, being open to looking at anything in life with a different perspective. Absolutely. The aha moments. That's a breakthrough. Yes. So with keeping all that there, and that's all 100% completely valid, I want you to consider that actually that's the end of a breakthrough. The aha moment, the discovery, the, oh my God, the different perspective. And one of the things we don't always consider is a breakthrough is all the parts that are leading up to that as well, like the actual process. You hear people say the process, right? I'm going to have some coffee because I really need it. I just woke up. So, and I want to go into that. And this is the element that is the part that is leadership. See, everyone wants the end part. The, whoa, mind blown. I see something new. Everyone wants that experience at the end where they get the clarity. And it's just like, phew, I see something really different. Yeah, the full body fuck yes decisions. Yeah, everyone wants them, you know. I look fresh for just, you know, thanks. So everybody wants that. Everybody wants that, right? Except the journey to becoming. Yeah, let's have a look at that. This is like 95% of the thing. And this is where the leadership is paramount, because these are the parts in which all of it's uncertain and which loads of things come into your kind of vortex or into your life that are difficult to kind of manage. And I wanted to talk about this, right? I'm reading this really cool book. I highly recommend it. It's a really great way of looking at it. It's called The Big Leap at the moment, and it talks about upper limits. And we have these upper limits, and you know, we get to an upper limit, which is basically this limit where we keep ourselves in this cycle of what's possible. And this cycle of what's possible, we're about to go to the next limit. So I'm about to like expand my business to another level. And, you know, going from, you know, 6 to 7, and that expansion right there is, okay, there's a whole lot of beliefs I have to break through, right? And that's my upper limit. So what then my brain's going to do is it's going to manufacture thoughts of worry and concern. It's going to have me pick fights with people in my life. It's going to have me kind of hide and lie and see things different, so that the brain itself is then manifesting situations in my life to keep the whole thing in place, keep this whole limit in place. And then I'm like, well, it's not possible for me to be an entrepreneur at that level, so I have to stay as an entrepreneur at this level. That's it, right? And or whatever it is in life. It's not possible for me to have a relationship like this, so I've got to have a relationship like this, so I'm just going to stay here. You know, whatever it is, whether it's relationship, financial, whatever. Okay, so this is where the leadership comes in, and this is what I want to train you guys in today. And it's simple. These simple leadership practices are what is the start process that leads you to the breakthrough. I'm talking, you can have breakthroughs like every freaking week with this process. And it's so important. Welcome, Peter. Welcome, Peter Johnson. Thanks for joining in. So first step, and I'm interested what you guys think. Before I go into this, I'm always interested in what everyone else is thinking here, right? What are these steps? I mean, having a breakthrough every week, is that even possible? Yeah, it is. It's actually probably, I don't think there's enough processing time to probably do it every day, but you can actually process for the day as well. I think you do need processing time. But I'm talking like next level to next level to next level to next level. You know, what do you think these steps are in a process? Because I love breaking things down. Acknowledge there is a problem. Great. Yeah. So there's acknowledging there's a problem. Feels like a draining mind fuck. Exactly. That is a very great description of it, right? It's like, I'm thinking, thanks, James. James, thanks. You know, there's that experience where it's like, oh my God, your head's kind of gone wild, and you know, you're just fully in some kind of space. It's unclear, you're confused, all of that, right? Yep, that's a good indication that you're in the process of a breakthrough and going into the next level. Hey, Alan. Sorry, someone keeps trying to call me. Oh, so finding the solutions. Yeah, so you're looking for solutions. Own. That's actually one of the steps. That's step number 3, Jamie Spiller. Own. Ownership. Okay, perfect. Who else? Finding the solutions. Yeah, that's a part of it. That's a part of that process, that looking. You know, it's just, it happens to me, you know, in my business. My business partner, one of my colleagues, one of my taking your courses. Yeah, that's right. That's a very good option. But you know, this one day I came down and she's level sleeves. I'm telling you, yes, that's right. That's right. She's talking about an NLP level there, peeps. For those that don't know, NLP is a personal development, and level 3 is someone that basically comes in and wraps a whirlwind around your world. So here I am at work, and I've sat down, and you know, Emily, who takes care of a whole lot of the process within the social media school, is very overwhelmed and very annoyed, you know. And so I go to making her wrong, like, oh God, we don't have time for this. Can you stop? Just get on with it. Come on, do your thing. And this is not leadership, okay? I'm going to demonstrate what not leadership looks like, and not in a process of a breakthrough. This is what it looks like to hit an upper limit and then just keep the same crap going on. Okay, so here I am at work, and she's upset and overwhelmed, and I'm like, can you just do the thing? You know, we're not getting on with what we need to this week. And so I'm sitting here, I'm not saying anything, but that's what I'm thinking. And then she's like, you know what, I just need your support. And I'm like, well, you know, then I think to myself, well, you got to fend for yourself. You got to some conversation I have with myself. This is how it works, right? I keep this in place. I'm like, yeah, well, fend for yourself. Now, that's not leadership. That's like, deal with it yourself. You know, come on, you're overwhelmed. I can see it. So there's this space between us where she's overwhelmed, and I'm like, just like move on and get over with it. And, you know, my whole mantra in the business is just keep showing up, right? But that is also not a hard and fast rule. It's like, yeah, you keep showing up, but it's not like, yeah, fucking get on with it. Okay, so here I am. That's not it. The first practice is listening. Now, we got to listen through, and this is interesting because you can't listen to, like I was listening to, get on with it. You know, you can't listen to get on with it. That's not listening. Let's see what this says. Yes, it is absolutely a constant process. That's why I encourage people to actually allow the constant process weekly rather than resist. It's actually a really good point. You know, you got to deal first. You got to listen. So you got to get yourself in it. And I did that this morning. I'm like rushing down here to get here, and then it's like you got to breathe. You cannot listen to someone from a place of making them wrong or thinking it should be another way. You got to like go out into the lawn, stop, go. Breathwork practices, whatever it is you do, you've got to stop so you can listen. You've got about 700 filters going on from your past. You can't listen when they're active. So you got to listen. What I could hear is something's going on with her. When I finally stopped to listen, I had to hear that she something wasn't working for her. Obviously going through her own process, right? And if you really think about it, we're all going through our own processes and we're sort of banging up against each other's processes. It's like, you shouldn't be in a process, when you shouldn't be in a process, we all shouldn't be in a process. So let's make each other wrong and keep each other all in this cycle and not going up to the next limit for ourselves, right? That's why it's like, stop, listen, breathe, surrender. What's happening? And when I listened, of course, you know, what she said and it didn't make sense to me. And so I just got more curious. And then step 2, looking. Right? Looking. And that's sort of a part of what you were saying, Marta, and a few people have said it as well. It's when the brain is sort of going a bit, except you can't actually get to looking at what's going on in the brain if you're not listening. So you've got to start at listening to make any sense or utilize this incredible brain we've got for looking. So once I could see, she's like, there's no teamwork here, you're not listening, everything, you know, what you're saying, you're putting so much pressure on me, there's this, there's that, you know. And I'm like, blame, you know, on me. And I'm like, well, that's your shit, you know, it's not me. All of that is in the realm of not listening. It's not listening. So I just listened. I was like, right, this is really going on for her. I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to listen. And then I'm going to do some looking and go, what would it be like for her to be around me? Look at that. I look at that right now. I'm like driven as fuck. I'm like, get the shit done. Let's do this thing. Let's go. What is it like for someone to be around that? You know, it's not always easy to be around that. Okay, so looking at what it's like for her to experience me, not whether she should or shouldn't be feeling that. She's experiencing this, she's experiencing that, I'm hearing that, she's experiencing that. It doesn't mean I have to take the blame or anything like that. No, I don't even talk about blame. So now you've got listening. You're actually hearing what's being said. She's overwhelmed. And then there's looking. What it's like for her right now being with me. Like, she's already feeling overwhelmed. She's saying that. That's real for her. Okay, all right. So me going, get the shit done. What's that going to be like? Doing the looking at yourself, not them. I don't mean looking at her going, I wonder if that's because of some inner child trauma that she has not overcome yet. No, that's not looking. That's more blame. That's like, yeah, that's just BS. If she has an inner child trauma, that's her deal. That's got nothing to do with me. Okay? I don't need to add to it. It's me looking. Getting shit done. Look, that's not going to make a difference. So doing the looking and the thinking and owning that. Then's the third step, like you said, Jamie. It's the ownership. Walking up to her and saying, you know what? Me being driven as fuck right now is not actually going to be assisting you right now. What do you need? Because I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. You don't have to have the answers. You can't get the clarity. And these are the three simple leadership practices. Listening. You've got to get yourself into a space where you can do whatever it is you need to do. Your 700 filters telling you what's wrong with the world is not listening. That's all past-based. Looking at your own behavior. Actually imagine what it's like for someone experiencing what they're experiencing and then having you there and looking at yourself going, what's this like? What's this like for them? What's this like? Looking. And then naming it, owning it. This is not bad, wrong, you shouldn't be this way or you shouldn't. It's actually going, just imagine. I talk about there's this space between us. And the space between us is the place we get to create together. And it's this amazing space. How I feel is not a space I can create with anyone. It's only how I feel. It's very, very personal. I feel all sorts of things. If I have a bad burrito, then, you know, I feel all sorts of things, but it's personal. Feelings are personal. So you can't look at them. You can't think about how you feel. You got to look at this space between you and others. And there's a space between you and others that's always there. Okay, so now there's a space, I'm looking, I'm listening, and I can own that in this space, she's feeling overwhelmed and I am being driven and trying to just get shit done. I can just own and acknowledge that, owning. So I'm just going to write those in, right? And like you said, it's stopping and using our intuition. And that's right, because really, I'm putting words to this, right? So listening is number one. One, listening. One is listening. But like you said, it is being guided by, people call that intuition. You just have to stop and just stop to start listening. The second is looking. Ooh. All right, number two, looking. And then the third is owning. Now, you can actually do this with yourself too. You know, someone just came up to me this morning. It's absolutely, and this is like an ongoing process. This is not like you do the looking and the listening and the owning once and then it's all sorted and then everyone, no, life keeps happening. Life continues. Have you noticed? It never stops happening. Things are happening. People in your lives, just to be real, it is absolutely always communication. You know, people in your lives are dealing with stuff. You're dealing with stuff. You know, your mum has something happened. Your brother has something happen. There's anxiety. There's depression. There's causes going over the world. We've got COVID. We've got economic crisis. We're like, build your business. Just get over yourself. Make sure that you're really happy and just what's wrong. Just personally grow. Why can't everyone not be depressed? Like, you got these messages coming out your fucking assholes. You know, it's like, how do you make sense of all this, right? Excuse my language. This language today, it's a bit loose. It's probably because I'm in Jamie Spiller's container. And you know, you've got all this stuff coming up. It's so normal to have the sense of confusion. Like, it's so, it's the confusion of what the hell do I do? What, like, overloaded with these messages. You know, so this is just a simple practice that it isn't about, you can do this with yourself. I do find that, you know, something happened this morning even when I woke up and I'm about to come here, right? I'm about to come on live. Something happened this morning and I immediately got like, oh my God, what have I done? I've done something wrong. And I just went back to it, listened and looked, and I went through the practice myself, you know, like listening to what that person said. I looked and went, I can see what I did that didn't work. And then, and owning, I have an impact. We all have an impact. And if we can use these simple, you know, this is just a simple practice to think about what it's like for others. If you're able to listen, if you're able to do your own looking, and if you're able to own your own behavior. This is not about saying that anything you do is wrong or apologizing for who you are, but it is absolutely about honoring the human beings that you have in your life and being able to be with all of that and own all of that, despite your experience of wanting it to be different, is your access to creating and co-creating in that space to actually have that process breakthrough. You know, we think that the way to get things done is to kind of like push, you know, if this person wasn't like this, if this person wasn't like this, you know, no, that's what's keeping us in this cycle of never going through that upper limit. It is messy. We do experience overwhelm. This morning I got really sad because I've upset someone, you know. I don't try to resist that. I don't be like, oh, I shouldn't feel this way. She shouldn't have said that. No, she said it because she feels safe to say it. It's like, yeah, we are all connected. And it's important that we don't try and force this process. This process is actually sped up when we don't try and force anything. Breakthroughs occur when that seed has broken completely down, is fully expressed, and then becomes something new. We need to allow that communication between each other for someone to sort of say anything to you. That listening is so important, and not everyone has the tools to do it. So that's what you guys are here for. Leadership is basically like this with breakthrough. And without leadership, there is no breakthrough. If at best you're going to get some insight into your own behavior, but never take any actions on it. Insight is not breakthrough. You can go to loads and loads and loads of professional and personal development programs, and they'll tell you all sorts of things about yourself. You can get so obsessed with yourself. It's amazing. Indulging. It feels great to understand yourself, that every freaking thing that happened in your past, what happened here and what happened here led to this and led to this and led to this and led to this and led to this. It's like, oh my God, I know myself. My human design is this, and I've got this design, and I'm that, and my what's some other? I'm an ENTJ, and I'm a this, and I'm a disc. I'm a disc profile. I'm an I and a D, and so what? If it doesn't mean any of it actually goes towards shifting behavior, creating new spaces with others, and leading to a place of compassion, generosity, and allowing what's happening, so that the process of the breakthrough and people actually reaching their upper limits can happen, or breaking through their upper limits can happen. It so is, like, I call that completely indulging, in your own self. I'm not going to say it, but it's like, literally, it's like, I call it total mental masturbation, and there's nothing wrong with it. I do it myself, right? I do love looking at myself and like, oh, look at me. Look what happened when I was 5, and this is like what caused it. Like, I do, but all of that is not just to look. Looking is only one step. It's the 3, and it's all about what you can provide others when you take those simple leadership practices to cause yourself and be able, and it does take something, guys. Like, I know that it's going to feel like you're stabbing yourself in the chest owning that for the first time. But I promise you take the leap to do it, and your life will be different. So, first step, listening. Second practice, looking. Third practice, owning. Any questions on that? I just want to go through what everyone is saying here. This is one of your most on-point trainings. Oh, thank you, Jamie. Wish people would actually listen. I know, wouldn't it be great if we could listen? There's so much going on in our heads. I'm not surprised people don't. I just created for myself that I was going to be someone that would, and it has my life be awesome. And I'm like constantly breaking through those upper limits each week. It's in the action. Absolutely. Pissing myself. We got Bianca. Knowledge is one thing. It's about what you're going to do with that knowledge afterwards. Actions to take towards changing a new conscious behavior. Yeah. So, thanks, Jamie. Love it all. So, just before we go, I want you guys to now. I just want to mention one thing, right? So they've done studies to show that practice, like anything that you practice, you become good at. If you do, you actually begin to master once you've done 100 times. Like, but there's so many things you can practice, right? So you gotta do it 100 times. And they've also shown that you don't need to actually, if I'm learning how to, let's just pretend it's a bat, right? If I'm learning how to hit a bat, I don't actually need the bat or to take the swinging action to learn to practice. What I can do is sit and visualize the exact thing that I would be doing. And it is in the brain exactly the same as practicing, which is why there's so much, so many people tell you to visualize and all sorts of stuff, right? So I'm inviting you to think about a situation that occurs repeatedly in your life that you want to take a new action in or be different in, despite how you feel. You might feel like you still want to react and things like that. And then stop and visualize a new action that you might take. And I want you to do that 5 times today. Just stop and visualize that new action. Now, I'm inviting you to write down what that action is going to be and what that situation is going to be and what you're going to visualize. Actually, too many things. I'm inviting you, if you would like to take part in taking a new action, this is how it looks. Write down the new action that you're going to take on visualizing in the post now. You don't have to, but if you'd like to, this is just a way for you to actually start the process of the breakthrough. Anyone else who has any thoughts or comments? Thank you, Amanda Burnett. I'm glad you love it all. We got there, love, 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 compounding. I'll give you a couple of minutes because this is going to make you think, right? What could it be? What could I do? So I'll start this off. What could I do? Need to stop procrastinating. Yeah, okay, perfect. So think of what happens when you procrastinate, when you go to do something and instead you get distracted. So start to think of what would be the action that you need to take in that moment that you could visualize doing and just keep visualize doing that. Reacting to my daughter when she calls. Perfect. You could take that's and thank you so much for being vulnerable about that, Jen. Like, I really honor you for saying that. Reacting to my daughter when she calls. You could take this, you could have a look and listen and look at what's going on for you and see what it might be like for her, and you could own that and share it with her. And then go and visualize how you might respond 5 times. Getting there, absolutely. In the morning, I'm jumping out of bed, not sick, ready to smash the day. Well, you might be sick. I mean, you can't really control your body sensations and things like that. But if you are feeling sick and you're not jumping out of the day, how could you visualize the action that you take in that moment, even if you are feeling sick? Of course, this is a process, right? Getting there. Yep, sticking to a structure and time frame for getting my work done. Yeah, visualize that actual action that's different 5 times. It's my tone. Yeah, it's my tone. I got it. And you might just have to own that. Just, sometimes people haven't liked my tone either. I do get it. And I'll sort of play with it. I'm like, would you prefer a high pitched tone? So you don't like my tone? Okay. Is it like this? Hello. Is this better? Would you like me to talk like this? You can play with it. I do get that this isn't easy stuff, but guys, I'm just providing you some ideas and some sort of science-based, proven. You start visualizing these new actions, they will start showing up. Stepping up to the plate. Tell me about it. What does that look like? What is stepping up to the plate? What are you stepping up to? Yeah, stop having a preconceived opinion that may be self-limiting and be open to something different. Yeah, okay. And just notice yourself when you do that and think of, all right, what do I say to myself when that happens? What would it look like to be open to something different? What would I say to myself in those moments? And what would I say to others in those moments? Yeah, tone is a thing. Oh, I get it, tone. I'm pretty sure that 99% of miscommunications are because of tone. I do it myself. Amanda Burnett knows. I was just thinking about that. I even hear tone in text messages. Like, so if I start to react to something, I'll even hear tone, like that person's going, "You shouldn't have said that," or something. That's not what they said, but it's like, it's almost like the tone is also conditioned based on my experience or my reaction. So even though it's not, it's like this is just words on a screen, but somehow they've managed to embed themselves in my brain with a tone. And then when you speak to the other person, that's not how they were saying it at all. You know? I get it. I get it, Jen. I get it. And if you want to reach out to me about that, you can. If you want a little bit more time. You know, these relationships, we're not taught how to do them. We are not. Relationships and living are the two things that are not in the curriculum at school. And so as we get older, we're sort of learning how to do that. And there's all these programs that teach us how to do it. And it's on the fly, and we're not all getting it done together. Whereas education is done all together. There's a whole bunch of education out there on relationships and how to have powerful relationships. And then there's life and living life powerfully, except we're all doing it at different levels. So that's why the world is looking like it does. But I promise you, when you go to work on it for yourself, your life and the life around you will start to shift. No, great. Well, guys, thank you so much. Just to recap, the 3 simple practices, leadership practices, is listen, do whatever you need to do to get you to a space of listen. Look at your own behavior, look and think about what it might be like to be around you. And then ownership, owning that and communicating it is one of the most generous things that you can do for someone else. Just imagine when it's done for you. You know, and that is like hand in hand with the breakthrough process for that relationship, for yourself and your own leadership, and really taking yourself to past the current limit that you're at in your life. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Simone, Jamie, Jennifer, Amanda. Who else have we got here? Bianca, I know you're there too. Anyone else you want to say goodbye? Thank you so much for tuning in. Jamie, Alan, the space that you've given me to do this training. Marta, really appreciate you and everything you guys are up to. Thanks, Christina. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in 4 weeks. Bye.